How many more years of your life are you willing to throw into the trash before you admit that you've become a slave to your own laziness, while you're chasing cheap, pathetic hits of dopamine from a screen? The version of you that was supposed to be great is slowly dying of neglect. That hollow ache in your chest isn't just a bad mood. It's the scream of your wasted potential, mourning for the life you'll never live, if you don't change right now. Welcome to English for You, the only sanctuary where we stop the decay and start the rebuild. If you failed to reach fluency because you lack the grit to stay consistent, or if your English feels as stagnant as your daily habits, you are exactly where you need to be. By hitting that subscribe button, you are signing a blood oath with your future self to stop settling for a mediocre existence. We use these raw, life-altering truths to ensure your English becomes a tool for power, not just a school subject. Today, we confront the silent assassin of greatness. Avoid temporary pleasure. We live in a world designed to keep you weak, sedated by instant fixes. When life gets hard, you don't grow. You hide behind a bag of chips or an endless stream of mindless videos that leave you feeling more empty than before. But real power and true fluency begins when you choose the difficult truth over the easy lie. Instead of surrendering your night to the shadows of regret, imagine the strength of choosing the quiet labor of progress. Let's stop feeding the parasite of the now and start feeding the warrior within. Let's begin. Ask yourself, are you truly the master of your fate, or just a puppet dancing to the chaotic rhythm of your own impulses? Most people spend their lives in a state of constant, blind reaction, but I want you to step into the role of the silent observer. This brings us to tip 2. Use your intelligence, not your impulses. When a colleague takes credit for your work, or a friend forgets your birthday, your ego might scream for a confrontation. But stop. Why should we allow someone else's lack of integrity to dictate our emotional state? Your mind is a high-performance vehicle, and your emotions are merely passengers. Never let a passenger grab the steering wheel and drive you off a cliff. By choosing a calculated response over a knee-jerk reaction, we reclaim the throne of our own lives. Next, we must guard the perimeter. Tip 3. Master your 5 senses. Think of your eyes and ears as the high-security checkpoints to your consciousness. If you spend your mornings feeding on the digital buffet of cynical news, and your nights absorbed in toxic gossip, you are essentially pouring industrial waste into your mental reservoir. I urge you to curate your intake like a world-class gallery. Swap the deafening noise of complaints for the profound clarity of educational audio, and trade the visual clutter of endless scrolling for the restorative beauty of real-world presence. What we allow through these gates eventually dictates the very quality of our soul. The moment you seize fierce control over what enters your senses and how your intellect processes the world, you stop being a victim of circumstance and start being the architect of your destiny. How much longer will you allow the ghosts of your yesterday to haunt the potential of your tomorrow? Your mind is not a museum of failures. It is a laboratory for your future. This leads us to tip 4. Choose your memories carefully. We often treat our past like a life sentence, replaying that one time we froze during a presentation, or the moment a relationship crumbled. But I tell you, you are not the rejection. You are the resilience that followed it. If a door closed on you last year, stop staring at the wood. Remember the strength you found to walk away. You have the power to flip the script and focus on the light of your survival. Focus is a choice, and where you look determines where you go. Furthermore, realize that silence in your mind is an open invitation for the world's garbage. Tip 5. Lack of auto-suggestions is a hidden enemy. If you are not actively programming your own mental operating system, society, social media, and toxic critics will install their own malware of not being enough. I urge you to take back the keyboard. When you wake up, don't let the first thought be a complaint. Forcefully declare, I am the master of my focus, and I command my day. Repetition is the only way to rewrite your internal DNA. Are you a prisoner of your history, or a programmer of your destiny? Drop a comment with I am in control right now if you're done letting your past dictate your worth. Your mind is a canvas, and starting today, I want you to be the one holding the brush, not your regrets. Have you ever wondered why you feel like a stranger in your own skin, reacting to invisible shadows you can't even name? It's time we stop fleeing from our internal world and instead embrace. Tip 6. Understand the emotions of psychology. Most of us treat our feelings like intruders to be locked away in a dark basement. But I want you to see them as encrypted data from your soul. If you feel a sharp sting of envy, when a peer achieves a milestone, don't bury it in shame. Understand that it is a GPS signal pointing toward your own suppressed potential. When we stop suppressing our shadows and start naming them, they lose their power to haunt us, and we gain the clarity to lead. But your internal work is only half the battle. We must also audit the soil we are planted in. This brings us to tip 7. Surround yourself with empowering people. Your mind is a biological sponge, and if you are constantly soaking in the cynicism of those who have surrendered their own dreams, you will eventually drown alongside them. I'm not just talking about your family. I'm talking about every battery drainer in your circle who mocks your ambition to protect their own comfort. We must be ruthless with our boundaries, choosing the elite few who reflect the person we aspire to be, rather than the version of ourselves we are trying to leave behind. Once we curate our inner dialogue and our outer circle, we finally stop surviving and start commanding our existence. Do you ever feel like your soul is being pulled in 1,000 different directions, leaving you exhausted, but with absolutely nothing to show for it? We are living in an era of chronic distraction, which is why we must commit to tip 8. Focus on one task at a time. Many of us pride ourselves on multitasking, but in reality, we are just fracturing our genius into useless pieces. Imagine trying to cook a gourmet meal while solving a complex math problem and arguing on the phone. You'll likely burn the food, fail the test, and lose your peace. I urge you to stop the leak of your energy. 1 hour of deep, undivided presence is worth more than a whole week of shallow, broken work. When you choose to do just one thing, your mind transforms from a scattered cloud into a laser beam that can cut through any obstacle. But focus is only half the battle if your internal dialogue is toxic. This leads us to tip 9. Challenge negative thoughts. That small, poisonous voice inside you that whispers, "You aren't ready," or "everyone will laugh at you," is not your intuition. It's a bully. We often make the mistake of believing everything we think. But your mind is like a news station that sometimes broadcasts lies. When you want to start a new project, and that voice says you'll fail, I want you to stop and ask, is this a proven fact or just a fear-based hallucination? If you don't hunt down your negative thoughts, they will eventually hunt down your future. If you continue to let your focus be stolen, and your thoughts remain your enemy, what will be left of your dreams by this time next year? The moment you stop believing your own lies and start protecting your attention, you become truly untouchable. If you are walking through life with your eyes closed, don't be surprised when you end up in a destination you never chose. To take back the steering wheel of your life, we must master tip 10. Visualize your goals. Most people wait for success to arrive before they feel like a winner. But I'm telling you to feel the victory first. Your mind is the ultimate architect. If you can't build it in your imagination, you'll never build it in reality. Instead of just wishing for a better future, I want you to close your eyes and feel the weight of a trophy in your hands. Or hear the specific tone of respect in your team's voices during a presentation. When you deeply convince your brain that the goal is already yours, your habits will automatically shift to claim it. However, a vision without a command is just a daydream, which brings us to tip 11. Set clear intentions. A day without a clear mission is a day surrendered to the chaos and demands of others. I urge you to stop being a passenger in your own life and become the captain. Before you even leave your bed, give your mind its marching orders. Instead of hoping for a good day, declare, "Today, I will act with radical focus and transform every setback into a stepping stone." Intentions are the compass that keeps you on course. When the storms of emotion hit, the moment you begin to see your future clearly and command your present fiercely, you stop reacting to life and start creating it. Are you going to spend your entire life being a hostage to how you feel at any given moment? Or are you finally ready to become the master of your own will? True freedom isn't doing whatever you want. It's having the power to do what is necessary even when your soul is screaming for comfort. This brings us to tip 12. Develop self-discipline. Most people fail because they wait for motivation to strike. But motivation is a fair-weather friend that deserts you when things get hard. I want you to build a warrior's mindset instead. When you've committed to finishing a difficult report by midnight, but your brain begs for the mindless warmth of your bed, discipline is the cold, steady voice that says, "We finish first, then we rest." It's about building a reputation with yourself that your word is law. If you feel you need a complete overhaul of your habits to make this stick, you must watch our video, Change Your Life, on this channel. It is the perfect companion piece to help you bridge the gap between who you are and who you want to be. However, discipline alone can feel like a burden if you aren't present to enjoy the journey, which leads us to tip 13, practice mindfulness. We are often ghosts in our own lives, physically in the room, but mentally 1,000 miles away, replaying old arguments or fearing a future that hasn't arrived. I urge you to stop leaking your life away into the void of what if. When you are washing the dishes, feel the water. When you are in a conversation, truly hear the person's voice instead of just waiting for your turn to speak. Mindfulness is the radical act of returning home to yourself and refusing to let your thoughts be your kidnapper. The moment you stop waiting for the right mood and start being fully present in the right moment, the world ceases to be a problem to solve and becomes a reality to experience. Imagine you are standing in the middle of a screaming, chaotic crowd, yet you are the only one who possesses the absolute power of silence. This is not a dream. It is the result of tip 14. Meditate regularly. Many of you treat your minds like a trash can, letting every worry and every insult rot inside until you feel heavy and broken. I am here to tell you that meditation is not a religious ritual. It is the ultimate power wash for your soul. It is for the student drowning in exam anxiety, and for the professional suffocating under the weight of imposter syndrome. When life throws a devastating blow, perhaps a project fails or someone questions your worth, your natural instinct is to overthink until your head spins. But I want you to choose a different path. By sitting in stillness for even 5 minutes, you stop being the victim of your thoughts and start being the witness. You don't need a mountain or a special robe. You just need the honesty to sit with yourself. As you inhale and exhale, realize that those negative voices are just clouds passing through the sky of your mind. They are not the sky itself. I urge you to stop trying to fix the world outside until you have fixed the storm inside. We must understand that meditation doesn't make the problems vanish. It makes the person facing them unshakable. When you finally decide to master the stillness within, you realize that the chaos outside never really had any power over you at all. What if I told you that the heaviest burdens you carry aren't meant to be stored in your chest, but bled onto paper to set you free? We all possess a silent chamber of secrets, old scars from a father's disapproval, the stinging chill of a betrayal, or the crushing weight of a dream that seems to be slipping away. I urge you to stop letting these ghosts rot inside your soul. This is why our final, most transformative tool is tip 15. Write your pain, then write your power. Think of your notebook as a sacred confessional where judgment does not exist. Every evening, I want you to be brutally honest. If you felt humiliated by a mistake in front of your peers today, or if you feel like a failure compared to the success of others, write it down. Let the ink absorb your sorrow so your heart doesn't have to carry the load. But we cannot leave the story in the shadows. We must rewrite the ending. Immediately after, you must document your strength. Perhaps today you chose to be patient when you wanted to scream, or you finally practiced your English for 10 minutes despite feeling exhausted. That is your power. When you document these small victories, you cease to be a victim of your past and become the architect of your own narrative. You aren't just writing, you are performing a spiritual surgery on yourself to remove the poison of regret. The moment you transfer your darkness to the page and shine a light on your resilience, you reclaim the pen that writes the rest of your life. Listen to the silence of your exhaustion and realize that the battle you're fighting inside is the most honorable war you will ever wage. I know there are nights when the ceiling feels like it's collapsing under the weight of your unfulfilled dreams, and you feel utterly invisible to a world that keeps moving without you. But I want you to hear me clearly. I see you. I see the quiet resilience in your eyes, even when you are on the verge of breaking. Whether your mission is to command the English language with the authority of a leader, or simply to find the strength to face another Monday without fear, you must realize that you are not a finished product. You are a masterpiece in progress. Healing isn't a straight line, and neither is mastery. There will be stumbles, but as long as you breathe, your story remains unwritten. Don't you dare let the temporary darkness of today convince you that the sun won't rise tomorrow. We are building more than just language skills here. We are forging the steel of your character. If you are tired of being the person who watches others succeed while you remain stuck in the shadows of one day, then it is time to claim your place. Join our family at English for You, by hitting that subscribe button right now. Do it as a vow to your future self that you will never settle for a mediocre existence again. Stop letting your potential bleed out through hesitation, and start investing in the only person who can change your life. You. Take one deep breath, look yourself in the soul, and make the ultimate promise. I am here, I am enough, and I am just getting started. The world is waiting for the power of your voice, so never let your light go out.